I've made a number of squares before, and I'm going to do another one. But this time I'm going to use different woods than this. This one I made previously is a maple handle with a cocobolo beam. Next time I'm going to use some other types of woods, get a little fancier, but it's also going to be a little bit bigger. And so you can follow along on that. This is going to be cutting a bridle joint, fitting everything in, make another decorative end, and move on from that point. So let's get started with that one. All right, so now we have the handle and the bar for the square. And this is a piece of lacewood that I was telling you about. It's about ready to go. So you can see what that looks like unfinished. And then also the quilted maple, or sorry, the ambrosia maple. So with all its colors. So that's pretty nice too. So it's time now to lay out the lines on the piece. To do this, you would take the thickness of your beam and also use the thickness of your handle, subtract the thickness of the beam from the handle and divide by 2. That's how far you'll want to draw your lines from each edge of the handle. When you're done drawing those lines with your scribe, pencil them in. It's really difficult to see a simple scribe line on a dark wood, so a pencil can help a lot, even though with a pencil it can be hard to see. Now it's time to measure the depth of the beam into the handle. Determine that, square it off, and there you have the lines that you now will have to cut to. Okay, time to cut the handle. We have our layout lines done, and I'm going to be using a small back saw that I have. When it goes into the vise, make sure that you don't have it way up high. Sawing at something that's this high up can be unstable, and it also creates chatter sometimes. So have it lower down as comfortable as you can be. And then lay your finger right beside the blade and start to make a cut on the back. And we do this, we're going to stay just inside the line. Come back here, start a cut on the inside of the line back here, and start to roll that forward to meet the previous line you had. That's one way to get a really good accurate cut. Once you get that, then continue sloping it down this way, and then go down to the layout line that we made before for your depth of cut. Then you can start leveling off the saw again and continue down with the rest of the way, making sure that you don't go below the line over here either. Now it's time to remove the waste. I put the chisel about an 1/8 inch above the line that marks the depth of the cut, and I start mortising out a pocket. After removing some of that material, I put my chisel at the end of the handle, give it a few taps, and it's really easy to knock out a long piece and remove a lot of the waste that way. Quick and easy. Just give it a tap, do a little lever, and pull out the waste. I'm just going to keep doing that until I get it all done, or most of it, and then when it comes time and I get the vast majority of it finished, then I'll turn it over. Remember to make sure this is clamped down to the surface really well. It makes for much easier work when it comes to chiseling things. And now take out the last bit, go inside and try to level out the bottom of the bridle joint to get a nice smooth surface as much as possible, and that's good for now. The next step will be cleaning it up and doing the fit. Okay. Okay, let's clean it up. Okay. I want to smooth out these cheeks and I want to make them parallel so that when I put my beam in here, it's going to fit. Because right now, it's just too tight. So I'm going to use this. And this is just a stick of maple, and I've used some double-sided tape to attach some 120 grit and I think it's 180 grit sandpaper on this. And it makes it really nice and handy to get in there and sand away what I have to do to make sure that fits better. It's nice and solid, so it's not going to bend appreciably. And I'll be able to make this all good on the inside of my bridle joint. What I've also done is put some on the side, but I also rounded around the edge. So with this edge here, I can go into the joint and I can actually sand the bottom of my bridle joint flat. And that can also be handy because sometimes there may be some high spots inside here that will bind and keep my beam from sitting away all the way down to the bottom. When I do things like this, I like to put the glue on the inside. And let it flow down. A lot more than I needed. So I want to square this, so I still have a little bit of movement available. So that looks good right there. I think I'm going to go with that. So it looks pretty good. Just going to go super easy. I'm not going to clamp it in place or anything. I'll leave it for now, and once it's dry, we'll do a final squaring. Make another. Make sure our handle is tight. Make another. And we compare our two lines, and it looks like now this is wider than this, so I maybe took too much off. So let's do another little bit. Alright, that one I can live with. That looks pretty good. Parallel the entire length. So that's the outside. Now we're going to check the inside. X that. Rotate it. Make another line. It's really close to it. And this one is a little bit wider here than here, so let's take a little bit off the inside. And for that, we'll go back to the shoulder plane again. Just X the old. Align, flip it over, and let's get close to this. Another line. Okay, so I'm okay with this. So this is good. This is the line we just finished. So we're just going to follow that all the way down. You want to make sure that those two lines are parallel for their entire length. And since they are, we are now done squaring. This is good. Now I'm going to put a small bevel on the end of the handle. So I'll show you how I did that. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of like take the sharp edges off here. A light sanding is all you're going to need, not too much. So just break the corners, the inside, the outside. Since it's been handled a bit, clean the handle up by light sanding also, and then put a finish on. All right, so my square is done. I kind of like this version. I like the color of the ambrosia maple. The Lacewood turned out pretty well. Like I said on this one, I gave it a few coats of lacquer. I sanded it to 220 and then 320, and then gave it a couple more coats. Everything's been sprayed with a satin, so it's got a little bit of a shine, but not a whole lot. If you want to try one yourself, hopefully it'll turn out well. Let me know how it went. Let me know about other videos that you might want to see in the future, and I'll see if I can put something together. All right, that's all for now.